Hey guys, here and back with another video, and it's also the exact same time I recorded just yesterday. Perfect, 9:20. All right. So I'm gonna be doing the President's Tier List. This is part two. If you're wondering that, I already did one. Technically, it was incomplete, so we're gonna have to finish it. Abraham Lincoln. So I'm gonna be looking. I really want to go to the video. Just jump straight into the video. I'm really rushing towards this, and this is gonna be a longer episode than the last one because there's gonna be a bit more presidents I'm going to be reviewing than the last one. We reviewed from the 1780s all the way to the 1890s, like the Cleveland ages to the Washington ages, or Washington ages to Cleveland ages, my bad. So I really want to get into it, but first I want to check if my tier was correct, and I kind of want to change it a little. So we got Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to keep all these guys, but I think the rankings are solid here. I think the rankings are also solid here. I think Quincy Adams could be in front of Fillmore, but I think I will keep Fillmore at that spot and Jackson Grant. Van Buren, I think I agree that Hayes could be better than Van Buren, so I'm going to change that. Van Buren probably still better than Harrison, but I think Arthur could be better than Harrison. Just a slightly bit, though. Just a slightly bit. So we got Zachary Taylor. I think he's worth. I think Harrison, we got to put him, but Harrison's still better than Tyler at least. So it's gonna be the new update, and I think I got my rankings the same. I kind of changed it a little, but I felt like I changed it a little, but nope. But anyways, I want to skip. I want to skip straight to the point of this video and start off with Benjamin himself, not Franklin, but this second Santa Claus. And he actually looks more of a better Santa Claus than Rupert B. Hayes. Benjamin's going in D tier. The reason why is because of his tariff policies that happened during his presidency. And also, if you guys don't know, I got the information from Mr. Beat, a.k.a. I am Mr. Beat. I am Mr. Beat. If you really want to search his name, don't search Mr. Beat because it gives you Mr. Beast. Search Mr. Beat. I know it's weird, right? I know it's weird. Like, normally you wouldn't search, like, a YouTuber by dot, but in this case, you have to search Mr. Beat as Mr. Beat, and I know it doesn't, it just feels weird to put in that dot because you guys are not used to that, but trust me, you'll have a way easier time finding him than just searching Mr. Beat because it will give you Mr. Beast. For the most part, I think it will. So just search Mr. Beat, okay? But anyways, Benjamin Harrison, I don't know much about his presidency, but the scandals, the tariffs, and the Hawaiian and Spanish kind of things, like I don't know much about his presidency, but I can definitely tell from it. And he's actually the first president to have electricity, a Christmas tree, and I think there's another one, but I forgot what it was. But he's the first one to have a Christmas tree and electricity, which is actually pretty interesting. But other than that, like the negatives of his presidency were kind of affected the country a lot, and that affected McKinley and Grover's presidency, like his second term. That's why we had Grover running 2 non-consecutive terms after, and there's no 2 Grovers, but it would be cool. I think it would be hilarious if there was 2 Grovers. I put them both at A. But anyways, Benjamin Harrison, but he's not a good leader. I mean, I find him as pretty wimpy, and what a surprise that I put both him and his grandfather at both of them are at D tier. I mean, I have a lot of D's. I guess this really shows my hatred for politics. I mean, at least I didn't put a lot of F's, though. Mr. Beats tier list put a lot of F's. Or should I say Mr. Beats tier list put a lot of F's. But I don't really have anything else to say about Harrison. His presidency was just... It was just meh, but kind of a bad meh, actually. The next one is probably William McKinley. McKinley's going at a C tier. McKinley, the reason why he's not an A or a B or even an S is because, well, he did have kind of an extreme kind of belief of government, he had, some of his policies were extreme, especially towards, like, Spain. He kind of, and the colonies down south, like Cuba, Puerto Rico. Basically, he kind of went to war with Spain, basically. That's what makes his opinion of McKinley drop down. I actually used to put him at an A, like, years ago. That's because I didn't really know much about his presidency compared to now. I started realizing his biased political views. I don't really want to talk about this stuff. It feels wrong even to talk about this because of our deep hatred for politics, especially you guys. But McKinley did make the U.S. a superpower, and he kind of made the power of the U.S. like it is today. So I think we should thank him for that. But he's really not a good president, though. I mean, he's not a bad president, but he's also not a good one at the same time. And he also, the economy was amazing when he was president. He actually kind of turned up Grover Cleveland's second term. Like Cleveland's second term, the economy was in a panic. I think for sure we had the panic of 1897 or 1893. I forgot what it was. I need to go start watching Mr. Dot Beat more because I think I need to. So the next one's TR. Now TR, man, this guy was goated. He's definitely not an F. He's definitely not a D. He's definitely not a C. He's definitely not a B. He's probably an A, but nope. He's going up here along with Washington and Lincoln. I mean, TR, a.k.a. Teddy Theodore Roosevelt, he was like almost flawless president. He really was that popular because both Republican and Democratic parties wanted him to run as president or just be in the party at least. TR, he respected all wildlife. He was such, I mean, TR, he was a flawless president, even though, and also Teddy Roosevelt actually ran for a third term. He was originally going to run for a third term in 1908 a bit, but he ran in 1912, and he lost to Woodrow Wilson, which I will go to Wilson, though, because I don't like Woodrow Wilson, but Theodore Roosevelt, he kicked butt during his 8 years. Japan, he actually helped end the Japanese-Russian War. Then he got a Nobel Peace Prize, He's actually the first president to get a Nobel Prize. This man kicked butt during his 8 years, despite him not having full 2 terms, because he took after McKinley's assassination. I think McKinley was assassinated. I think McKinley was assassinated by a German or Hungarian man. I forgot what's his name, but he was assassinated by like a foreign European man, some kind of story. I don't know why he was angry with him, but he shot him in Buffalo, New York. TR, I know a lot of our presidents died from New York. Sorry, my voice isn't good, but TR, I mean, imagine if we had him as president today. I think the country would I mean, he's definitely better than Biden, as you can tell. I'm kind of exaggerating from my beliefs on TR, but really, he was just that goated. I think I have to put him above Thomas Jefferson, because Thomas Jefferson did do some really bad things, especially they're mostly Alexander Hamilton related kind of problems with Jefferson. Those are like the biggest flaws I have with Jefferson was his relationship with Alexander Hamilton and a bit of John Adams as well. William Howard Taft, I would give him an F because of his corruption. I know a lot of our presidents have corrupt scandals, but really, I think it's just a common thing in the presidency. You would see Taft probably next to Harrison. I mean, him and Harrison are kind of similar. I kind of compared them a bit, mustache and beard, but William Taft did not really. I mean, he promised to continue the legacy of TR, but I forgot to mention this with Teddy Roosevelt. The reason why teddy bears are a thing is because of Teddy Roosevelt. That's where you get the name from, and his respect for wildlife. So, yeah, TR. TR has to be at an S tier. I know, I think some of you all might disagree that Lincoln and TR or Teddy Roosevelt shouldn't be that high, like A or B, but really, I think TR was he was that goated. He deserves like a based tier because of how goated he was. He's extremely unflawless, though. But William Howard Taft, he promised to continue Roosevelt's legacy, but kind of ruined it. He actually fired many cabinet members. This made Teddy Roosevelt angry. Some drama happened in 1912. That's the main reason why Woodrow Wilson's president. And speaking of that, I kind of want to jump straight into Woodrow Wilson. So, yeah, Woodrow Wilson going down the 4th entry. He's the 4th entry into the F tier. Probably better than Pierce a bit, slightly, just solidly better than Pierce. So if you guys don't know who Woodrow Wilson is, I think you guys should be familiar with him if you guys know American history. Woodrow Wilson, he was a wannabe peacemaker. He had a messiah complex. I know, it kind of sounds weird if I talk using these historical words, as I said in the last video. Woodrow Wilson, he had the 14 points. Woodrow Wilson, I think I mostly hate him due to his racism. I mean, he was the first Southern Democratic president, I don't know, since Andrew Johnson. Andrew Johnson wasn't actually a Republican, though he was actually considered a Democrat, but ran for a Republican ticket. And that was probably Lincoln's worst mistake yet, choosing a Southern racist Democrat to run alongside him. We haven't really had that much Southern Democrats. Like, I think we had Bill Clinton, Wilson, Johnson, and Jackson, and I think, and LBJ as well, but we didn't really have anyone else, I'm pretty sure. Oh, Bush was a Republican, but we didn't really have anyone else that was a Southern Democrat. We barely had those. I think it's because, so Woodrow Wilson, probably my fourth least favorite. He's not as bad as these three, but he's really close, and he's also the most hated president. That's why they made Woodrow Wilson Hate Day, believe it or not. That's actually a thing on April 6th, to dedicate the hatred for this man and his controversies during World War One, though. All I can say, but I can't describe Wilson that much. There's actually several videos talking about how bad he is. Because really, he was that bad. I mean, there's many historians that made tons of videos on discussing how Wilson wasn't a good president. But he also supported the KKK. I'm pretty sure his father was a Confederate slave owner, and himself, he was a KKK supporter. And also, he actually thought that KKK he actually thought it was a good thing. And man, I can't describe how bad Wilson was. A very racist Southern Democrat, kind of similar to Andrew Johnson, though. The next president I want to get to, but Taft, fattest president, but I shouldn't blame him for that. It's really rude, but he ran up. Harding actually appointed him as Chief Justice. Speaking of that, Harding is probably like the worst president we ever had. I'm actually have to say, no. I think Andrew Johnson's worse. Sorry. I was originally going to put Harding as the number one worst. He's originally going to be my least favorite president. Actually, James Buchanan was, but I realized how bad Andrew Johnson was with Reconstruction and Civil War. I don't want to talk about that, but Andrew Johnson, I still have a deep hatred for him, but also have a deep hatred for Harding. The reason why we never had an Ohio or Virginian president was because of these two. As you can see, and Wilson actually originally going to he was planning to run a third term after the 1916 election. He kind of declined due to his stroke that he developed. Sorry, I keep stuttering. It's a common thing I do in my videos, but whatever. For the last 2 years, I forgot to mention this, that Woodrow Wilson was not really president for the last 2 years. His wife was. So his wife was considered the first female president, even though she technically wasn't. But she did most of the duties for him, though. And that's why he never ran. Actually, his son was actually going to run in 1920, believe it or not, to carry on the legacy. But he actually failed to run 1920 and 1924 due to not making the nominations, though. Which is really interesting that we could have had a second Wilson, or actually even a third if you count the wife, to run America, though. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, but I don't know if it is. It kind of is. Harding was mostly towards his corruption. Again, I'm mentioning corruption again within U.S. presidents because we had a lot of that. I think it's ever since George Washington's presidency we had corruption. It's actually it's still a thing, and it's really big. A lot of our presidents suffer from corruption and racism. So yeah, but Harding, he's the laziest, most alcoholic, drunk, high, dumbest, stupidest, basically bad in many ways, a bad president in many ways. Harding, he didn't really do much, and he let it. I'm pretty sure Herbert Hoover and Calvin Coolidge were both the next two presidents. Were all in his cabinet. These three were all in the same room together discussing, like, what are they going to do with the country? And that's the reason why the Teapot Dome scandal happened. But Coolidge was a breath of fresh air after Harding. He's going up to probably not A. I feel like it's a bit too high for him. Coolidge is probably going to go up here. I mean, he was a silent. He was nicknamed Silent Cow because he barely would talk. But still a really chill guy to be with, though, Coolidge. I don't know much about him. But he actually kind of, I wouldn't blame him for starting the Depression, but I think we should blame Hoover for that, which is the next president. Hoover isn't really that bad. He was actually a good he's actually a really nice guy outside of office. He seemed like a smart dude. But when he was in office, I understand he had to deal with that depression. He actually had caused a stock market crash. I'd put Hoover probably a D because he's not that bad. I was originally gonna put him at F, but I realized how great humanitarian he was outside of office. So that makes me want to put him at D. I have a lot of D's, I know, but yeah. I'll get to a. He signed the second worst law in American history, right behind the Kansas-Nebraska Act, the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, which was a horrible law, and he signed that law. He also kind of had another president that had corruption, similar to Harding. Coolidge, I didn't have much to say because I don't know much about him. But Hoover was he was a president that was very out of touch with his people. Unlike FDR, which is the next president. FDR, not an S tier. He did kind of have some shady stuff, especially with the Japanese. Drama with the Japanese. He imprisoned them. I mean, the Germans and the Japanese and the Soviets had, and I mean, basically every country in World War II had, mostly the main countries had to deal with punishments. But FDR is probably going at an A. He's a recognizable figure in American history. I think we should put him. I think we should put him over Thomas Jefferson. Though FDR is not an S tier. He could have been an S tier, but his New Deal policies were pretty shady, and they were kind of too democratic and liberal. Again, he didn't really escalate that well. That's why many people hated him because of the New Deal policies that he did. But his World War II leadership helped us get out of the Depression. And he was kind of like, so he's like the head of state during World War II. Eisenhower was like the guy who led our military during World War II and helped overthrow a fascist government in Germany. Because, yeah, Eisenhower, I want to get to him. FDR, I think he's actually a solid leader. And if you guys don't know, he's the fifth cousin or cousin of Theodore Roosevelt. They're related. I mean, that's why they both have Roosevelt in their last name. So he ran for 4 terms, and I think that that's the reason why we don't have 3 terms anymore. It's because of FDR. FDR is really not the best leader. He's kind of pretty, I don't know how to describe it, but what he did to the Japanese was just horrible. I mean, you wouldn't want to know what he did. I mean, World War II, they were treating these, they're from Israel really badly, but really FDR, he treated these Japanese like, I don't know, you don't know what he did to these Japanese, similar to what Churchill did to the Indians. Not Columbus, though. Columbus, they're not even Indians, but Columbus, yeah, we're not talking about Columbus. We don't talk about him when it comes to U.S. history unless we're talking about explorers. I wonder if there's an explorer tier list, because I actually want to put Columbus on there. Columbus is like the #1 explorer that comes to my mind. Americo Vespucci is another one. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. He's also from Italy, similar to Columbus, but I think I credit him more for the foundation of America than Columbus, though. HT, where's HT? Truman's another D tier. Truman's actually, I'd say Truman is probably going in here between Tyler and Harrison, because Truman, I was never really a big fan of him. Actually, I wouldn't blame him for nuking Japan. He actually nuked it 2 times. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I get why. I mean, America and Japan, we had a hard relationship during World War II. It was similar to, like, I don't know. But, I think, I kind of blame him for starting the Cold War along with Joseph Stalin oh my God, sorry. I was afraid there was going to be something outside. I hear birds chirping outside. You probably won't hear. You only hear my voice right now. But anyways, he had some drama with Joseph Stalin and the Soviet Union, with the Soviet dictator, and he kind of helped start the Cold War alongside that. Churchill I don't know much about the Cold War, that 60-year war, that decades-long war, that Truman kind of helped start, and also he caused more drama with the Korean War by sending more troops to Korea, though. What was I gonna say? But he kind of did it similar. He's kind of similar to Johnson, though. You would compare him to Johnson in terms of Korea and Vietnam. He he kind of had a similar kind of path. He's similar beliefs like Johnson, considering that they were both Democrats. Lyndon Johnson. I don't mean Andrew Johnson. Lyndon Johnson. Anyways, Eisenhower. I think it's fair to put Eisenhower at S tier because he was that good. He overthrew the NSDAP government in Germany. I don't even want to say the actual party, but he actually helped overthrow that. Actually, and his leadership was just phenomenal. I don't really know much about what he did to Germany, though his leadership was just phenomenal. He also helped found the interstate system. He also did many more things. He actually opposed black rights. No, he actually supported black civil rights as well. Eisenhower. He also did many more interesting and helpful things. He's actually a savior to our nation. Actually, Eisenhower, and I'm actually glad we had him for 8 years as president. And he's also the last president we had that had actual really amazing, phenomenal military experience. Eisenhower. My science teacher actually is kind of like Eisenhower. I would compare him to Eisenhower, but really, Eisenhower, another S tier, and it's also Mr. Beat's second favorite person behind the father himself, George Washington. And I think Eisenhower probably, I wouldn't really, probably Eisenhower's number 4, yeah. John Kennedy, not an S, because he didn't, the reason why he's not an S is because he didn't really, we kind of didn't really, like, should I put him in front of Jefferson? I don't know. Kind of tough tie for me. I'd probably put him behind Jefferson because like Jefferson signed the Declaration, so you can't oppose that. But John Fitzgerald Kennedy. The reason why we didn't, the reason why I would have put him at S, believe it or not. But the reason why he's not an S is because we kind of never really got to see how good he truly was because he's only in office for 2 years. So we couldn't really see how good he was, but maybe it's really unfair to judge Harding because he was only in office for 2 years, just like Kennedy, and I put him at F. So as you can tell that JFK, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, died in Texas, assassinated by LHO in Dallas, in Plaza in downtown. I forgot that plaza's name. His speech at Rice Stadium was just amazing. So we shall go to the moon. Yeah, it really inspires me. I mean, I think his moon speech, his Rice Stadium speech, is just phenomenal. And he was really young. He actually he was the youngest elected, but not the youngest to become president. He's the second youngest behind TR. The next president, he didn't get along with LBJ. LBJ's not a D. I think he actually did do good with civil rights, but LBJ's probably going at a C tier. The reason why is because Vietnam, he just kept on sending more troops and more troops. Similar to Truman, though, but I actually do like him a bit more than Truman. And I know you may disagree with that. I know I put a lot of D's, and I really shouldn't. I mean, look at all the D's I have, and I don't really have much C's either. It's kind of crazy. But LBJ, a.k.a. Lyndon Baines Johnson, I actually kind of live somewhere around his, he actually is a local celebrity, technically, LBJ. LBJ, 36, I think he's the 36th president. I'm not really sure, 37th. He's either 36 or 37th, but I kind of forgot. I think he's the 36th, I believe. But he's not as bad as Nixon. He supported black civil rights. I think that's the reason why we take for granted for him as a good U.S. president, because mainly towards the civil rights, but he also did a few more. I think his civil rights leadership during civil rights, he was also the one that declared civil rights on blacks. I don't even want to say blacks. It feels offensive. But without him, well, technically, he didn't get along with any of the Kennedys, really. Well, just mainly John and Robert, but the reason, there's actually more reasons, but LBJ, good civil rights leader, but a horrible leader at leading against Vietnam, and we shouldn't even been involved in Vietnam. Kennedy actually tried to stay neutral. He actually promised neutrality between Vietnam, but Johnson did the complete opposite. He just kept on killing people. And I don't even want to say that. Richard Nixon going at an F tier. Nixon's going at an F. Nixon wasn't the most solidest leader. Nixon's actually really good as a. I heard that he was great as a vice president. Like, he was like Eisenhower's running mate. He did really well. But in terms of like president, all the corruption again with corruption scandals, all the corruption and scandals, and and even worse drama with Vietnam. I mean, he dealt with a lot of communist countries during his presidency. He met Pol Pot, Mao Zedong. He had to deal with all those. He met a lot of communist leaders during his administration. And yeah, he resigned due to the Watergate scandal. A big liar. He honestly said that he would never, ever tell a lie in his life. Just a big liar. And I think that's the reason why he almost got impeached. He didn't get impeached, and he got resigned because he didn't want to be in the president. He was scared he'll get impeached. So, yeah. But the next president, Ford, was a bit of a breath of fresh air. But Ford didn't really do anything. So I think I kind of put him here. Ford didn't really do anything as a president. I'm putting a lot of D's because, why not? A way to judge Ford as a president, I think he was a really chill and solid and nice guy. But in my opinion, I put him at a D tier because he didn't really do anything in office. I don't know. Jimmy Carter. And I have a policy that we're going to rank Obama, but we're going to exclude Trump. Actually, we'll make a tier below called, and I'm going to change the color. Oh, no. This is going to be called, I want to eliminate new. How do I do that? This is going to be called the incomplete section. And I want to change the color because we can't have two yellows. It's just ridiculous. Make it white because, white's an incomplete color. Like, it's also the absence. Kind of is. No, black's the absence, but you can tell white's just an incomplete color. No, that's where I should put Trump. Shall put Trump myself. Carter's not a D. In fact, I think Carter's not a B either. I think, judging from Carter, I think he should have been a C. And he's actually kind of a bit better than Johnson and McKinley. But Carter, in my opinion, I think Carter could have been in the top. The reason why I put Carter a C+, he was a great guy. This man really has a heart, and he's going to die. And I felt like that was a threat saying that. But I hope we can we're going to pray for him that he can live up to 100 because he has like a year and a half left. It's kind of like a game here. He's trying to beat the boss and make it to the next level. But he really needs to beat that boss and makes it to the next level. But anyways, Carter, peanut farmer. He's kind of like not an activist, but I don't know what that word is. Not a philanthropist. I'm thinking Mr. Beast, but he's really a good man. But what he did during office is this horrible, the Iranian hostage crisis. Oh, my God. But really, Carter's a nice, solid man. Oh, Reagan's, I feel like I'm being a little too, how do you call it? Reagan. I'm being a little bit too sarcastic, or I'm kind of it feels like overreacting putting Reagan up here. I feel like it's a bit too much, but really Reagan's another he's truly a legend. He was the oldest president to become president at that time until Trump 30 years later. Actually, Reagan and Trump have shared a lot of similarities, and they actually met. They were actually pretty good friends, Reagan and Trump. Ronald Reagan helped end the Cold War. Just a nice guy. Bill, I think. Oh wait, no, I put him at an F. I'm joking. Really a decent president. Bush, really a decent president. Didn't really do anything. I keep thinking of him. His embarrassment eating at a Japanese buffet, and his death in 2018. R.P. George H.W. Bush will be missed, but George W. Bush, I would put him at D, but I have a lot of Ds. And he's also a really chill, nice guy. He's such a nice and chill guy to hang out with. I would hang out with Bush, but really, when I look at my guys at D, I have too much. I have way too many Ds, and I guess I'll put him a bit above Hoover. I mean, Bush, a nice guy. But he hated Osama bin Laden, and ISIS and all those terrorist groups and Saddam Hussein in Iraq. He pretty much kind of escalated the Iraq War by sending more and more troops, like Johnson and Lyndon, LBJ, and Truman before him. But yeah, Obama, BO, he doesn't, yeah, not in a bad way, but BO, probably, BO, where should I put BO? B tier. I know I'm exaggerating a little, but Obama, really good. Should I put Obama above? No, I feel like he's Obama, really good leader. So far, it looks like he's on my top 15 best presidents. Obama, and we're gonna exempt Trump, and we have one more. I skipped Bill Clinton. But I'll get to Bill Clinton. I think Bill Clinton was actually a solid president. It's just scandals that were gonna ruin him. But yeah, Obama, social media fanatic. He cared about healthcare. Um, a good rapper as well. And I'm joking about that one, guys. But Obama, solid, chill, nice guy. He did. I mean, he actually tried to make school lunches edible and make them better and more solid. That's what Obama was trying to do. But he did do. He didn't. But he did help bring the troops from Iraq. Mr. Beat hated him because well, ISIS. The rise of ISIS was due to Obama's presidency. I think that's the reason why. I don't know if they're still up, but ISIS. That's the reason why they're still up. It's because of ISIS. Obama, he actually escalated, brought the troops home. Again, I actually think that was kind of a good idea, but we had ISIS, so yeah. Bill Clinton, good president. I think he actually helped. I think the economy was decent, somewhat decent during his presidency. Bill Clinton, and he actually, Bill Clinton, I don't know. I don't know. Bill Clinton, scandals with his wife. Yes, that kind of turns him down. But still, I think he's a solid leader at some point. But yeah, Trump, I put him as incomplete because he could run again, two non-consecutive terms, second president. After Cleveland, I forgot to mention that Cleveland himself was the man of integrity. He called himself the man of integrity. Basically, I mean, he was, him and James Garfield are nicknamed the men of integrity. They actually both were. So yeah, this is my president's tier list. I know it doesn't look. I put Eisenhower that high, but it's okay. So that's my president's tier list. I'm sorry, so that was my president's tier list. I know I'll put a lot of D's. It's kind of hideous. I don't know what these are, but I don't even want to mention them. But yeah, so that's my president's tier list from S to F. Actually, S to F to incomplete. So yeah, I'm Zuriat, and bye-bye, out, and peace, and I'll see you guys in the next video.